over the middle, has Cole. 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Rockets the steady drive and slams it home.
Tedesco back, Boyster at the wall, leap. He made the catch and robbed him of a home run.
Hi, and welcome to the Big Red Report with Sean Ihaz. I'm Randy Barroso. We begin with soccer this week as soccer kicks off our home schedule this weekend. The women playing on campus field this Sunday, scheduled for noon. But with that comes the Northeast Conference preseason coaches polls. And once again, Joe Barroso's men's team has shown some pretty good respect among his peers.
That's right, the Pioneers were picked third in the Northeast Conference preseason coaches poll, and that is impressive because the Northeast Conference Soccer League has become one of the most competitive in the region. The favorites this year are Monmouth University, a unanimous favorite, should really come as no surprise as they look for a three-peat and are ranked in preseason polls and were ranked through much of last season. Second in the poll is Fairleigh Dickinson, just ahead of the Pioneers, and behind is St. Francis of Pennsylvania. But earlier this week, our own Brendan Flynn had a chance to catch up with head coach of the Pioneers, Joe Barroso, and talk about his team's third-place preseason selection.
I'm joined now by men's soccer head coach Joe Barroso on the Big Red Report. And Joe, just a week away from the season opener, it'll be at home here at Campus Field against St. Peter September 1st. And what has the team been doing over the last 2 weeks to prepare for that season opener just a week away?
The same as always. We're going twice, 2 practices a day. The preparation is we're halfway through, and after that, we're going to once a week, but the team looks pretty good, and I'm happy with what I see.
Now, the team's coming off a very successful 2010 season, raced out to a 4-0 start, received votes for the first time in program history in the national poll, which comes out weekly by the NSCAA, and 11 wins overall, made the conference tournament, unfortunately lost in the semis, but you do return a good core group of players, and I think that all starts with your junior All-American, Marcelo Castro. What can you say about him?
Oh, we'd be here for a long time, but he's that good. He's a player that eventually could go to the next level. He's a great defender, and at the same time, if needed offensively, we could use him. But just the same preparation as always. We look to continue to where we left off last year.
Well, as you said, he can get it done on both ends of the field. Last year, he made the transition from center mid to center back, but still led the team in scoring with 5 goals and 2 assists. But joining him in the back, behind him, Alex Fate returns. He missed the end of last season. He was the goaltender as a sophomore, played every minute, played the majority of last season until having to leave the team towards the end. But what does he bring back to the team this year?
Alex is another one like Marcelo, very good goalkeeper. We actually been very lucky for the last 6-7 years as far as the keeper's concerned. His experience, and he for sure will keep us in all games. He's that good.
So despite losing a big senior class last season, a lot of veterans with a lot of experience, the team does return a good core group of veterans. But what can you say about the new guys that have come in this season?
Very happy with him. Obviously, Simon, he's a transfer student. He's been there for 2 years. He will be playing with Marcelo on the back. But I do believe there's another 3-4 freshmen that will contribute to the team this year.
And just one more question. We've talked about the newcomers and the returning guys on the back line. What about up top? Who can we look forward to this season to possibly be putting the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis?
2 juniors, Justin Brewer, Brian Francolini, and the sophomore Johnny. I think hopefully they'll score more goals than last year. They're good players. Unfortunately, they just they weren't able to score last year. And at the same time, obviously, we could always throw Marcelo up there if needed.
All right, Coach, thanks a lot for your time and best of luck this season.
Thank you.
On the Big Red Report, I'm Brendan Flynn with the head men's soccer coach, Joe Barroso. The Pioneers kick off their season Friday, September 1st, here at Campus Field against St. Peter's.
And now it's time to look at the Pioneer women's soccer team as their preseason poll was also released early last week.
No surprise, the defending champions in the conference, St. Francis of Pennsylvania, get the nod among the coaches with 8 first-place votes. Monmouth in second with 2. LIU didn't get any first-place votes, but they're in third. CCSU did get a first-place vote, and then the Connecticut schools logjam through 4, 5, and 6, CCSU, Quinnipiac, and SHU. The Pioneers were in the playoff race up until the final 2 weeks last season, and Sean, through the magic of editing, interviewed Kim Banner, the head coach of the Pioneers women's team, earlier this week.
And now in the Big Red Report, we are joined by Kim Banner, the head coach of the Pioneers women's soccer team. And Coach, jump right into it. Your team lost a 4-year goaltender in Megan Reichel to graduation. You do have Sydney Jenkins on the roster, who started the last game of the season, had a shutout in her only career start. Did she win the starting job in camp? Will she be your goaltender in 2011?
Sydney came up huge last game of the season, and she's looking very good coming out of preseason camp right now. We also have a freshman joining in the mix. But, you know, it's anyone's game right now, but Sydney definitely has like a nice little lead to her.
You do return your top 3 point scorers from last year. Samantha Key and Lucy Gildine co-led the team with 5 goals. Amanda Stiles led the team in points. Is that going to be the core of your offense this season? What do you expect from those 3?
Those 3 are definitely, I mean, our you know, top forwards, and then you add Ashley Moore into the mix too. I mean, Ashley actually coming out of preseason's done a great job. I mean, so she's really looking to you know, round out those line of forwards for us up top.
And on the back line, you have a lot of stability. You have 3 upperclassmen: Lauren Baccio, Heather Quavillan, and check my notes real quick, Leah Palmacci, all in the back line coming back for at least their junior season. And along with them, you have Alyssa Brandolfino, who's going to be a sophomore, but had a great rookie year, solid defender, and led the team with a 6 with 6 assists in the season, and really kind of was your service player on set pieces. What is it like to have that kind of experience in the back line and really that solid group?
I think that just, you know, goes to show what kind of leadership we're going to have in the back line. I mean, you know, with those 4 players, they're solid defenders. You know, they have the experience behind them. I think that with their leadership, they're really going to help us, you know, hold the line and be dominant in the conference.
And last thing we want to talk about is, are there any newcomers in the team this year you think can make an impact right away?
Yes, I think Jillian and Kristen will come out for our freshmen and really, you know, showcase, you know, their abilities, and we'll see some time in the rotation for us.
And getting away from really the individual players and to talk about the team, the last 2 seasons, you know, you've been slowly moving up. Last year had a winning season, 8-6-5, 4-3-3 in the Northeast Conference. In the last 2 years, you've been in the playoff race until the final weekend. What does this team need to do to kind of get over that hump and make the NEC tournament?
Well, I think, you know, I think every year they really they work so hard. I mean, we have a very competitive non-conference schedule, and I think sometimes that, you know, beats us up going into, you know, conference play. So we're gonna, you know, look at it a little differently and take a different approach, and hopefully really hit that goal and make the playoffs this year.
Well, good luck this season. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.
Taking a look now at the week ahead, it's always fun to start the season, but especially when you're the defending champions. That's the case for Rob Matrim and the women's volleyball team, and they look to begin their quest to repeat as NEC champions this weekend at the Syracuse Invitational. Along with taking on the Orange on Friday, they'll also see action against Siena and Youngstown. Field hockey also opens up Friday. They take on St. Louis at St. Louis. They'll follow that with a game on Saturday at Missouri State. And then women's soccer opens its season at Albany also on Friday. Moving forward to Sunday, we hope to have soccer for you. That all depends on Irene. If she allows us, weather permitting, we'll be here at high noon on Campus Field as Kent Banner and the Pioneers take on Illinois State.
And that's all we have for today's edition of the Big Red Report. Join us again on Monday as we hope to have highlights, at least from Sunday, recaps for the weekend's games, and we'll name the first Enterprise Rent-A-Car Student Athlete of the Week of 2011. For Randy Brochu, I'm Sean Ihaz. Have a good weekend.